Tonight, a budgetary bind.
Millions in refinery taxes have been tied up in a legal fight. What this means for classrooms, coming up.
Basically, people are just walking up and down streets and avenues, and they're looking for anything and everything that they can get their hands on.
Plus, how can you keep from being a victim of a vehicle break-in? And later, missing but not forgotten.
I'm Madeline Heath here in Memorial Park, and coming up I'll show you how the community of Helena has gathered to honor the 46th National Prisoner of War and Missing in Action Recognition Day.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening and thanks for making KRTV your choice for news at 5:30. I'm Tim McGonigal. First tonight, Calumet, Montana's tax protest could leave Great Falls schools in a budgetary bind. For a third straight budget cycle, the company's protest has created uncertainty for local governments. And as MTN's Anissa Coomer tells us, taxpayers may be the ones who end up footing the bill.
Great Falls Public Schools has been navigating 3 years of uncertainty as millions of tax dollars tied to the Calumet refinery remain in dispute. While those funds sit in escrow during the state's appeals process, district leaders say the bigger challenge is planning a stable budget for classrooms.
Says anybody that pays taxes has a right to protest it.
When a company protests its property taxes in Montana, that money doesn't immediately go to local governments or schools. Instead, it's placed in escrow while the Department of Revenue reviews the case. For Great Falls Public Schools, Calumet's protests have meant nearly $2 million tied up over the past 2 budget cycles. While the district can request to use the escrowed funds to cover their budgets, the real impact comes once the state determines the final settlement.
Where it's going to affect the district is when the protested taxes, that process comes to an end and a settlement is reached for those protested taxes. And that's the point where we have to work with the county very closely on what the amount is going to be, the difference that's going to have to be re-levied through a permissive levy with the county to all the other property tax owners out there to balance it up.
While Calumet has continued to pay their full tax obligations, the refinery says the Department of Revenue's standardized valuation methods don't reflect the realities of specialized facilities. According to Calumet, their total tax bill between Calumet and Montana Renewables has gone up nearly tenfold since 2012. And from 2021 to 2024, their production remained the same, while their taxes nearly doubled. Calumet says that is not a sustainable rate of inflation and is protesting around $8.2 million in taxes during that time. A spokesperson for Calumet told MTN, the Montana Department of Revenue did not value our business correctly and the appeal seeks to correct that. We hope the conversation can move beyond why isn't Calumet paying more to a more balanced dialogue about how business taxpayers, school districts, local governments, and the state can work together to ensure sustainable funding for essential services without relying disproportionately on any one entity.
I think what the community doesn't see, there are other small individuals that maybe do protesting of taxes each year. They don't have the same effect as a company like Calumet. We just continue to work with them. They're also a partner of ours. We understand they have a business model they need to follow and do what they can do for their business. But we also have to be proactive for our district.
Right now, the school still gets access to the money in escrow, but the uncertainty continues until the Department of Revenue makes a final decision. Depending on the outcome, taxpayers could shoulder part of that cost. In Great Falls, Anissa Coomer, MTN News.
We've reached our last official weekend of summer. Chief Meteorologist Ryan Dennis is in the Storm Tracker Weather Center to tell us what to expect before the calendar flips to fall on Monday.
Yeah, it is the final weekend of summer. We are going to have summer weather for a good chunk of this weekend. Today it was another beautiful day, so we had a lot of sunshine and dry conditions throughout most of northern Montana. A great day to be out on the water or really anywhere within Glacier National Park as well. Temperatures are in the 70s and low to mid 80s, so it is warm outside. And tomorrow it's going to feel like summer once again with highs in the 80s in most spots. We're also going to have a lot of sunshine and dry conditions. On Sunday, a cold front will be working its way through our area later in the day. So we are going to have increasing clouds throughout the day, and there will be some scattered showers and storms around as we head into Sunday evening and Sunday night. And I'll have a full look at your weekend forecast in a few minutes.
One person is dead after a small plane crash near Ferndale Airfield in Flathead County earlier this afternoon. Flathead County Sheriff Brian Haino confirmed the death to MTN, adding that the plane was badly damaged in that crash as well. It was on fire when the Ferndale Volunteer Fire Department arrived on scene. Great Falls police say vehicle break-ins are common in the Electric City, but it's often difficult to identify the perpetrator. So far in 2025, there have been nearly 400 reported break-ins. MTN's Quentin Shores spoke with an officer for tips on how you can keep from adding to the numbers.
Car break-ins happen regularly in Great Falls, with around 11 vehicles a month being broken into or trespassed just this year. Join me in finding out what you can do to help reduce the likelihood of this happening.
Basically, people are just walking up and down streets and avenues, and they're looking for anything and everything that they can get their hands on.
As recent as July, GFPD noted that over 20 vehicles had their windows smashed in and were broken into over the span of just 2 days. 30 firearms have been reported stolen out of cars from July to September, and GFPD isn't able to recover the firearms at the same rate at which they're being stolen. The firearms are then used in different crimes.
Quick grab and go type things, so purses, wallets, electronics, and unfortunately there's been a large increase in firearms that are stolen out of vehicles.
Individuals like this one here go from car to car, checking if any are unlocked. Often these cases remain unsolved because of unclear footage, but any information regarding this individual can be reported to GFPD. Additionally, there are ways to keep your vehicle safe.
1. Always leave your doors locked. 2. Never leave valuables inside your vehicle. And 3. Don't park in alleys or suspicious looking areas.
It's better to be safe than sorry. And never ever leave a firearm in a vehicle.
In the event of a break-in, you can report it to the police. In Great Falls, I'm Quentin Shores, MTN News.
Today across the nation, Americans pause to honor the courage, sacrifice, and unwavering spirit of our military service members who were prisoners of war and those still missing in action. And in Helena, those members were honored in Memorial Park. MTN's Madeline Heath has the story.
Since World War II, Montana has over 50 military personnel listed as prisoners of war or missing in action. And those lives were honored for their determination and courage in the face of unspeakable hardships.
We just bring it to light again that we still have men and women who serve this country who didn't make it home, and we don't know what happened to them.
The solemn ceremony also honored sacrifices of families who face each day without knowing the fate of their loved ones.
46 years ago, we decided that we would do something here in Montana to recognize that.
53 names of Montanans classified as prisoners of war or missing in action were read one by one.
Andrew LaRoque, Roosevelt County, World War II, missing in action.
And veterans in attendance wish they could give those 53 lives one last message.
I would tell them that they're not forgotten, that we don't forget those that we lost, we don't forget those that are unaccounted for.
But those in attendance believe these military members should be remembered more than just on POW MIA Recognition Day.
If we forget how we got where we're at, somebody's going to have to relive it. Our kids, our grandkids, our great-grandkids.
The Montana Veterans Affairs Division has a fundraising goal of $40,000 to place a prisoner of war and missing in action monument at the State Veterans Cemetery. You can visit the story on our website to learn how to support the efforts. Reporting in Helena, Madeline Heath, MTN News.
Airmen at Malmstrom Air Force Base honored National POW MIA Recognition Day with an annual remembrance run. The day was first established back in 1979 through a proclamation signed by President Jimmy Carter. Since then, every president has continued the tradition, designating the third Friday in September to honor those who were held captive and those who remain missing.
We remember our fallen heroes from generations of war fighting, but also to make sure that the community and the public at large know that it's a continuous effort to get the remains back from those that we've lost overseas, those that never return home, and to remind their families that they're not forgotten, they'll never be forgotten.
Nationally, a ceremony is held each year at the Pentagon with representatives from every military branch. Still, observances also take place at bases, schools, state capitals, and veterans facilities across the country. At Malmstrom, runners took turns carrying the American flag from Friday until Saturday morning, ensuring the flag is moving for a complete 24 hours.
The past is coming alive in Great Falls this week as the Montana State Genealogical Society welcomed family history enthusiasts from across the state for its 33rd annual conference. I'm Brianna Juneau with MTN News, and I'll have more on this coming up.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. History is rooted in Great Falls this weekend. The Electric City is hosting the 33rd annual Montana State Genealogical Society Conference. MTN's Brianna Juneau stopped by the event to see what these ancestry enthusiasts are up to.
The Heritage Inn in Great Falls is buzzing this week. Not with tourists, but with history hunters. For the 33rd year, the Montana State Genealogical Society brought together people passionate about one thing, uncovering family roots.
So we are a statewide membership organization. We've got about 80 of our members together here to learn and share knowledge.
Made up of members devoted to researching family history, the annual convention covers everything from research methods to history information.
Being able to communicate with others who speak the same language is really huge.
For Jim Thompson, who has attended these conventions for around 10 years, it's events like this that help the researchers break through roadblocks and find new information.
I mean, we all think that we've got the biggest resource in front of us, a computer, and we can find everything there. That's not the case. Sometimes you really have to go out and dig, and this conference has given me quite a few new ways to do that research.
There's an energy that we're just all excited that we want to find that elusive relative that, and how can we do that? So we just kind of feed off of each other.
That shared excitement is what keeps many coming back year after year, and what keeps that momentum going to dive deeper into the research.
So once you start doing family history, you're probably going to get addicted to it.
It's more than collecting dates and places. It's a puzzle you don't have a box top for. You just kind of keep finding things.
For members of the Montana State Genealogical Society, genealogy isn't just about the past. It's about connection to history, to family, and to each other. In Great Falls, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
Monday marks the first official day of fall, which in Montana means snow and cold could make its presence known at just about any time. For homeowners looking to stay warm, MTN's Keith Grevenitz has details on a tax credit available until the end of the year to save $2,000 on a wood pellet stove and installation.
Winter is right around the corner, and when those cold temperatures, they get here. Are you ready? Well, there's one tax credit that you might want to know about, and it'll save you money on heating as well. Homeowner Marty Hartnett recently replaced her fireplace with a more efficient stove, something that could also lighten the load on her furnace.
I didn't find out about the tax credit until when we bought the stove, so that was a nice surprise.
That tax credit could get you about 30% savings on a wood or pellet burning stove, venting, and insulation. But the deadline to get that done is December 31st. And submitting for the tax credit is easy to do.
You just save your receipt from us that everything's paid for, receipt for maybe the labor or whatever you had to pay on that. And then there's a certificate you get from the company, the manufacturer, that says that stove was in fact certified and does meet all the standards.
The certification proves that the stove is 75% efficient. And with that certificate and receipts, you can get up to $2,000 back. Installation doesn't take too long either. According to Kurt Lee of Fabulous Flues, they can get your stove set up and ready to burn between 2 and 4 hours. And new stoves are better for the environment than your old fireplace.
An old fireplace would put out, say, 30 to 100 grams of smoke an hour. These new ones are putting out less than 2 grams. So no smoke in the air, which is a good thing.
Reporting in Helena, Keith Grevenitz, MTN News.
Heating your home this winter will cost more money. The National Energy Assistance Directors Association says the average household will spend $976 to stay warm this season. That's nearly an 8% increase from last year due to higher natural gas and electricity prices. Dozens of utility companies have already raised rates or plan to do so. Meanwhile, federal assistance for utility bills has remained at $4 billion for the past 2 years.